It's week 5 here in the 2025 season on Madden 24, and despite a disappointing loss last week to the Broncos, our season has gone pretty much as we would have expected so far, as we sit 2-2 along with the rest of the AFC West. We have a big divisional matchup to get to this week against the Las Vegas Raiders, as well as a breakout challenge for one of our linebackers. But I do want to start this week by having another look at the 2025 draft class. Our horizontal big board is really starting to fill out, particularly in the round 1 to 2 range. Edge is a big position of focus for us this coming off season, and in addition to Casey Alexander, we have added a couple of other guys to our shortlist, one of which is Luke Kincaid, 6'4", 266. He is a really good athlete, though strength is somewhat lacking, but he does have a finesse moves. So Kincaid, like Alexander, should be a pretty solid round 1 talent on the edge. LaMarcus Alley and Dylan Matthews both currently listed at edge, but we would very much project a move inside to defensive tackle. LaMarcus Alley is a fairly underwhelming athlete across the board, but acceleration and strength are both great to elite, which are two very important attributes at defensive tackle. The same goes for Dylan Matthews. Not an incredible athlete, but he has those great to elite acceleration and strength. LaMarcus Alley, we know that he has B, power moves and tackle, as well as B, play rec, whereas Dylan Matthews, we know that he has B, block shed and A, tackle. So again, they should be late first round talents, potentially into the second round. The offensive line is another big area of focus for us, and Cody Bolden was already on our horizontal draft board, but we have added also Daryl Yancey, Terrell Perryman, and Seth Chamberlain. Terrell Perryman, like Cody Bolden, would be a player we would project to move inside to guard, where we have a much bigger need. 6'5", 337. He's a very good athlete with great to elite strength. We know he has A, pass block power and B, run block power. So a power lineman at the moment, despite the fact that we don't know his archetype. The other two, I would project that they would stay at tackle, so less of a need for us since we do have Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, but you can never have enough depth on the offensive line. 6'6", 316 is the 21-year-old Daryl Yancey. Pretty underwhelming athlete, but great to elite agility and change of direction at the very least. We know he has A, pass block power, A, pass block finesse, so he's likely to be a pass protector. We do know that at this stage. And then Seth Chamberlain would also project to play tackle at the NFL level, 6'7", 320. He's 22 years old, a solid enough athlete, good enough to get by at the very least. We know he's got A, pass block finesse, B, pass block power. So he would also project to be a pass protector at the next level. I'd also very much be open to drafting another receiver, but I'm not sure we're really going to be in position to do so. There's two guys at the very top of the draft class in Darren Andrews and Clayton Hayden, both who are probably going to be very good prospects. Neither of them are on our big board yet, simply because we don't know for certain where they will fit in, whether they will truly be top 5 talents. But Darren Andrews, really good athlete at 6'3", 226. Great to elite speed, strength, acceleration, jumping, good to great change of direction. We know he's got B, medium route, A, short route, A, spec catch. We know he's going to be good. How good he is, we don't know at this stage. The same goes really for Clayton Hayden, 6'4", 217. Another bigger receiver, another really solid athlete. B, deep route, B, short route, B, catching. Again, he's going to be good. We don't know how good. And both of them are going to be taken ahead of where we would be comfortable taking a receiver. So we're looking further down the board. Unfortunately, the only guys we really have are Rocco Jones in the round 1 to 2 range. Smaller than the previous guys by quite a bit. 5'9", 191, and he is already 23 years old. So an older prospect. Really good athlete. Great to elite acceleration, agility, good to great speed. He's got B release, A carrying, A deep route. We don't know a massive amount about him at this stage. And then Denzel Cherry was another one that I did add. 5'9", 195, but 2 years younger at just 21 years old. Solid all-around athlete at the very least. And we know he's got B, catch in traffic, B, spec catch, A, deep route. And he's just around 2 to 3 talent. So Denzel Cherry would be the kind of receiver that we are looking for. There doesn't seem to be a lot of depth down the board at receiver, though. All of these in the round 2 to 3, round 3 to 4. talent areas where we would primarily be looking to take a receiver, they all look bad. Unfortunately, the same can be said for safety as well. We are looking to play a lot of big nickel in our defensive scheme. So looking to add a couple of safeties behind Derwin James. Quentin Jarrett seems to be the only one worth adding at this stage. 6'2", 212 at 21 years old. Prototypical prospect in terms of size, age, that kind of thing. Good to great speed, good to great strength, good to great acceleration, great to elite even agility. And we know he's got B hit power and B man coverage. We don't know a massive amount about him at the minute. I think I put him in the round 2 range on the horizontal big board, but not a massive amount at safety. So wide receiver and safety, maybe something we're looking to add in free agency this time around. So I'll keep updating you with the progress of our big board as we learn more and more about these prospects, and especially as we get into focus players. But for now, we've got a matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders to get to, and a breakout challenge for Junior Colson. He's had an unbelievable start to the season. Early candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year, I would say. And if we are going to achieve that breakout, we need to hold the Raiders to less than 250 total yards, which probably isn't going to happen. But we could also get Junior Colson 1+ interception, forced fumble, tackle for loss, or sack. Through his first 4 games, Junior Colson has 28 total tackles, 5 of which are for loss. He has 2 sacks to his name. He has an interception as well. I don't believe he has a forced fumble. We did come away with a 3-point victory when we played the Raiders in week 2. And we will be hosting the Raiders this time around. So we should have a good chance of winning. We're going to go for 15 first downs as we ordinarily do. 300+ offensive yards. We'll allow fewer than 30 points today. And we will go for 2 passing touchdowns for Justin Herbert. Looks like no injuries this time around through training, and we should be fairly close to having a full squad available again. And in fact, Joey Bosa is no longer on the injury report, so we will be back to full strength this week. So Joey Bosa does return to his left end position. Khalil Mack on the right. Let's just make sure he's also in at the rush spot as well, and he is. One other change that we have made for this week is we are moving Ladd McConkey up the depth chart slightly. He's going to be our number 2 receiver now, behind Quentin Johnston, moving ahead of Josh Palmer. So without further ado, let's head over to SoFi Stadium, see if we can get back in the win column here in week 5, and see if we can get Junior Colson star dev. SoFi Stadium is the venue. Chargers Raiders for the second time already here in just week 5 of the 2025 NFL season, as Justin Herbert leads the Bolts out onto the field. We'll see who leads the Raiders out onto the field this time around. It was Aiden O'Connell when we played them in week 2, but there is Gardner Minshew, and it looks as though he's getting the start here. So a training camp injury potentially keeping Gardner Minshew out for the first couple of weeks of the season. Potentially it was Aiden O'Connell who showed a bit more during preseason, but has been given the hook early. Raiders are 2-2 though, just like everybody else in the AFC West. So to hook Aiden O'Connell with a 2-2 record seems fairly harsh, but it is going to be Gardner Minshew who leads the Raiders out onto the field to open with their first drive. And he's attempted only 2 passes so far this season. So what I think probably happened is Gardner Minshew started the season in week 1, and like Aaron Rodgers, was injured just a handful of snaps into the game. Made way for Aiden O'Connell, but Gardner Minshew has now returned. Junior Colson is going to be the focus, and we already have star dev. 1 play into the game, Junior Colson has star dev. And his incredible rookie season continues here. Unbelievable performances from the linebacker so far. And he's got off to a great start in this one. Chasing down Zamir White in the backfield and making the tackle. And it brings up a 2nd and 12 for the Raiders, who will pass. Gardner Minshew scrambles and finds Devontae Adams underneath. But it is going to be just short of the line to gain. And it is going to be a 3rd and 1 here for the Chargers. Going to creep up with Derwin James. I think it's an extra offensive tackle they've got on the left-hand side there. Zamir White squeezes through, and we've crept up with Derwin James, and that's left a gaping hole in behind, and Zamir White has exploited it, and it's a touchdown on the opening drive for the Raiders. I crept up with Derwin James because it was an offensive tackle on the left-hand side there rather than an additional tight end. But that meant there was nobody back to stop Zamir White once he'd broken through to the second level. Asante Samuel certainly wasn't going to catch him. And it is an early lead for the Raiders. Bit of an ill-disciplined start to this one. We should have just held back. And we likely wouldn't be 7 points down at this point. But still early days. And Justin Herbert will get a chance to lead his team out onto the field earlier than expected. Just 3 plays the Raiders took to take it down into the end zone. Very underwhelming start to the season for Justin Herbert. Barely over a 50% completion rate. Only 5 touchdowns to 3 picks. Not been a good season for him so far. But we will go out in our usual opening script and try and get things going early here in this one. Hayden Hurst is our man underneath, as he so often is. And he does take up for a 9-yard gain, which sets us up perfectly for this play-action shot that we do like to take. On second down, Justin Herbert hits Hayden Hurst for back-to-back completions. 32 yards combined. And we are already into Raiders territory. And Justin Herbert is already in the zone too. We're going to check to a run here though and give J.K. Dobbins his first carry of the game. And he takes it forward for a gain of about 3. And we are going to try a jet pass here to Lad McConkey. Block shaping up well on the right-hand side, but it's still only a gain of a couple. And it brings up a 3rd and 5. And I think this is 4 down territory early here. So we are going to run the ball. And it's a great block from Andrew Norwell to open up that hole for J.K. Dobbins. Really, really good block. I thought the receiver on the left-hand side was going to come across and make that block. I think it was Josh Palmer. He didn't do so, but Andrew Norwell managed to get off his man and up to the second level. And we're going to try play action here on first down. Again, we've got Hayden Hurst. It's not Hayden Hurst this time. It's Lad McConkey. Very different body types. I'm not sure how I mistook him for Hayden Hurst. But McConkey had something of a breakout game last week. And he has his first reception early here in this one. We're going to see what we can do here in the red zone. Not too much going on in the end zone, but it's a really, really good grab from Lad McConkey in traffic. First read was Quentin Johnston on that corner, but the safety took it away. That opened up space for Lad McConkey underneath. And he ventured into that space, made the grab, was absolutely rocked, but managed to hold on. And I might go to Quentin Johnston because he is isolated one-on-one here. We'll just toss it up to him, and it's gone straight to a Raiders cornerback. Where Quentin Johnston was going on that one, I have no idea. Bit of miscommunication between Justin Herbert and Quentin Johnston, and I thought J.K. Dobbins had done enough to squeeze through that gap. But Troy Dye was there to make the tackle, and it's going to bring up a 4th and 1. We are going to go for this. So, early, aggressive call here from Jim Harbaugh. We are down on the 6-yard line of the Raiders, and we're just going to trust our offensive line to win. And does he get there? I think he does. The clock is still ticking. And the yard marker has moved to the 5-yard line. So we do just about manage to convert there. But that was closer than I would have liked it to have been. And we're going to roll out to the right here with Justin Herbert and look for Lad McConkey at the back of the end zone. And it's knocked away by the Raiders cornerback once more. Max Crosby there, kind of in coverage on the quarterback rather than on the receiver. And we're just going to run the ball here with J.K. Dobbins. Good blocking up front. We were just trying to run off the back thigh of Joe Alt there, but just got caught up on him slightly. So it's going to be a 3rd and goal here. And Lad McConkey has won. Can he get into the end zone? He's made the grab. Yes, he can. Get into the end zone to tie things up for the Chargers. Wasn't sure whether we were going to be able to turn upfield quickly enough there because the pass took McConkey out towards the sideline. But Justin Herbert hits his man in stride Quinton Johnson had taken the outside corner in. And Lad McConkey on the whip route won easily. Had plenty of separation. All Justin Herbert had to do was lead it out far enough in front that the cornerback couldn't get back into the play. But not quite far enough out in front that it would take McConkey all the way to the sideline. And he threaded that needle with perfection. And we have taken longer to do so than the Raiders, but we've also managed to put up a touchdown on our first drive of the game. So let's try and have a better drive defensively here. The second time of asking. Play action for Minshew. Dropped out to the flat. And I might have jinxed Zamir White there by saying that he dropped it out to him, because just as I did it, clanked off the running back's hands. Not much of a receiving back, Zamir White, to be fair. But he certainly can run the ball. And he's gone 2 for 79 so far today. Almost 40 yards per carry. Derwin James lays the wood, but can't force the ball free. So it's going to bring up 1st and 10 at the 38 for the Raiders. Junior Colson in coverage on the running back this time. And Hunter Renfrow, despite the fact that Derwin James was right there, manages to make a tough catch. So a 2nd and 3 for the Raiders. We're going to send Derwin James on a blitz off that left-hand side. Zamir White forces his way through. He had him at the line of scrimmage there, but too powerful, the legs of the Raiders running back. And he does manage to force another first down for the Raiders. I wonder if we'll see a bit more Brock Bowers here this week as well. And I knew that's play action all the way. We've got to break that up. And Devontae Adams makes a tough grab. Zamir White put the ball on the ground early, but the Raiders receivers coming up big. First Hunter Renfrow, now Devontae Adams, both making tough catches in traffic. And that'll bring up another 1st and 10 for the Raiders, moving the ball a little too easily for my liking here on in the first quarter. And Derwin James takes down Michael Mayer, but not before the Raiders can convert for another first down. I have to change our approach already here early in the game. Gunnar Minshew changes the approach at the line of scrimmage, and that's a good tackle, Miles Jack. He's been just as good as Junior Colson, if not better, to be fair, so far this season. He has more tackles than Junior Colson. He doesn't have quite as many big plays, turnovers and things like that, though, Miles Jack. And that's a big play. Morgan, not Morgan Fox, is Tui Pelotu, and Zamir White goes down with an injury. And I don't think the Raiders have got too much behind him. We saw Verdell, I think it was, lead the line for the Raiders in week 2. And Zamir White currently on the sideline. How long he will remain there, I'm not too sure. But we will, of course, keep an eye on that situation as it progresses. But for now, it's going to be a 3rd and 9 for the Raiders. Devontae Adams at the back of the end zone. Joey Bosa forces Gardner Minshew from the pocket and forces him to throw the ball away. Brings up a 4th and 9 for the Raiders. And they will undoubtedly kick a field goal. So we don't hold them to no score, but we do at least prevent the Raiders from entering the end zone for a second time. And it is going to be a return from Darius Davis. I didn't really want to return that. It would have been a touchback had he just stood still. But he refused to stand still. My finger wasn't on the left stick at all there. So Justin Herbert and the Chargers back out for the second drive then. That's entirely the wrong button. And thankfully it's just incomplete. I was looking for Lad McConkey underneath. Instead, went to Hayden Hurst. And we're fortunate that that just fell incomplete, because I had no idea where that ball was going. And I've run the wrong play here. I'm making all kind of mistakes early. But we'll see what we can get nonetheless. And we've thrown it again into traffic, again towards Hayden Hurst. And this has been a disaster of a drive so far. But we'll see what J.K. Dobbins can get on the screen as we motion Josh Palmer across to the left side of the field. And the blocks make it out there. And it's enough for J.K. Dobbins to get a first down and more. Big gain on 3rd down. And we needed a conversion there desperately. And we get not only a first down conversion, but we take the ball all the way up to the 48-yard line as the clock ticks away at the end of the first quarter. And it's a 10-7 score here. Raiders with the advantage, but we have the ball at midfield and a chance to take the lead. So Justin Herbert still in the zone, but we will run here on first down. J.K. Dobbins swallowed up almost immediately, though. So work to do here on 2nd and 12. We've got J.K. Dobbins exactly where we want him, though. He doesn't quite manage to fall forward for a first, but it is going to be a 3rd and 1. And Justin Herbert has started this game in the kind of form that we want to see him in this season. Excellent blocking there, even from Darius Davis. Little Darius Davis leading the way in the run game as Michael Pierce goes down with an injury and hobbles off the field. So that's going to make that defensive front a little easier to run on. They do still have Christian Wilkins, of course. And I think we could have something here. I think the Raiders are sitting in some kind of cover 3. And we do end up going to Josh Palmer underneath. Wasn't a primary read, but it was cover 3 seam. I thought we would have Hayden Hurst or Quentin Johnston, but not to be on that particular occasion. We do have Josh Palmer underneath this time, though, and he's just going to duck out of bounds because there was 5 Raiders swarming towards him there. And if I was him, I would have ducked out of bounds as well. And we need to get this snap away. We do manage to do so. Don't really like anything that we've got on there, though, so we're just going to throw it away with Justin Herbert. Not sure if that knocks him out of the zone or if we've got to take sacks for that to happen, but I guess we'll see. Justin Herbert is still in the zone. And we do have Quentin Johnston out in the flat here. Can he force his way through the Raiders' defense? He can for another yard or 2, but at the expense of an injury. So Quentin Johnston will leave the field. We're really looking to develop him into a primary X receiver for us this season. So looking to get as much XP, as much development out of him as we can. And we're going to try and punch it into the end zone here, as we've got a very inviting front to run on. And easily into the end zone for another touchdown this season. J.K. Dobbins behind Corey Linsley, who led the way at center, did well to hold off the attack at the line of scrimmage there. Christian Wilkins was involved, but we did enough to delay the pressure for long enough to allow J.K. Dobbins to get into the end zone. We are going to take our first lead of the game. A 13-play drive, followed by an 11-play drive. But the Raiders will have a chance to take the lead back from us. Going to try some man coverage here. We've come out primarily in zone so far, but it's not really been working out for us, as the Raiders' run game, despite the fact that Zamir White is now on the sideline, has not slowed down whatsoever. So we will start sending a few more players. Not quite at Gardner Minshew, but more so just at the line of scrimmage in terms of a run blitz. And there is Brock Bowers. We didn't see a massive amount of him in week 2. Took him a little bit of time to get acquainted with the offense, it seems. But he is out there today, and he has made his first grab of the contest. And it's another run right for the Raiders. This time just a 3-yard gain. So 2nd and 7 for the Raiders. And Miles Jack couldn't quite get there. Brock Bowers makes his 2nd catch of the game. Miles Jack and Junior Colson are going to have their hands full today with Bowers and Mayer. And I'm just not sure how to slow this Raiders attack down, to be honest. It's Verdell. It's Zamir White again. He's back in the game, but immediately goes down injured again. And I'm just not sure what to do to slow this Raiders attack down. Junior Colson can't get there. Hole opens up for Verdell. And the Raiders are just running all over us. They must be well over 100 yards. They are 122 yards on the ground. I mean, I guess we know how to change our approach in the second half. But for now... Oh, I thought that was a fumble for a minute. Asante Samuel there breaking it up. Unfortunately, just an incomplete pass. And we're going to go more base defense rather than nickel and big nickel at the moment, because the Raiders are just running all over us. And that is opening up gaps in behind. So we're just going to try and match them man for man. We will go nickel here. on third down in the red zone, though. And we will commit to the pass and protect the sticks to try and keep the Raiders out of the end zone for a second time. Good coverage. Got to get there. Fumble. You've got to fumble. Gardner Minshew scrambles into a horde of Chargers defenders. Holds on and gets the ball down at the 1. And we're in a really, really sticky situation here. And it's going to be a touchdown. How have we allowed the Raiders a first down there? We had Gardner Minshew. I wasn't quick enough clicking onto that right stick to close Gardner Minshew down. I was too busy in coverage. But, I mean, to be fair, it was Devontae Adams coming across the field. And I was using a linebacker. Like, I have to... That's my primary assignment. Is to make sure Gardner Minshew isn't able to just dink the ball in behind to Devontae Adams. But that did mean that space opened up for Gardner Minshew. Space opened up for a moment for Darius Davis there. But the Raiders put another 7 points on the board. And they have gone 3 for 3, I believe, so far. And we have had a really tough time slowing them down, as J.K. Dobbins is unable to gain anything on that one. Max Crosby climbing on his back to slow him down pretty much. So Brendan Rice in the game for the injured Quentin Johnston. Josh Palmer in that primary X role at the moment. He makes the grab to bring up a 3rd and 5. And we are going to look to convert here through Lad McConkey, who again holds on through contact. What a big performance for the rookie receiver. Again here in back-to-back weeks. Really coming up big for the team. And I know I shouldn't, but I just can't resist testing the defense deep in these kinds of situations. Justin Herbert for once lays it out in front of his receiver. Perfectly drops it into the path of Josh Palmer. And already we are back on the board. And already we have the lead once more. And it is Josh Palmer. He was bumped down the depth chart today, behind Quentin Johnston and now Lad McConkey. But he's made the grab there in Quentin Johnston's absence. And taking it home for the touchdown. And there are Justin Herbert's 2 passing touchdowns already here in the first half. And we will kick the extra point to take a 4-point lead here at SoFi Stadium. So the Chargers will come back out for their 4th drive of this first half. We have been really unable to slow them down at all so far. And they have gone 3 for 3 in terms of scores. 2 touchdowns, 1 field goal. And they're going to run a counter here, as Verdell again is going to break off a, 15-yard run. Absolutely unreal performance so far from the Raiders' run game. And just nothing we try seems to do much of anything at all, really. Sending a bit of heat this time, but Hunter Renfrow with the grab in behind. Eventually tackled, but not before another 9-yard gain. And I literally just have no idea how to slow this Raiders attack down. Hunter Renfrow again. What a grab. What a grab in traffic. It was pretty good coverage from Miles Jack on the slot receiver. How Miles Jack ended up on Hunter Renfrow there, I'm not sure. Because we were in man coverage and we did have 3 cornerbacks on the field. But already the Raiders are at the 30-yard line. I think it's going to have to be takeaways today. Derwin James with a sack. Fumble Gardner Minshew. God damn it, fumble one time. Derwin James in for the sack, though. Forces the Raiders back at the very least to the 39-yard line, potentially out of field goal range. And that does bring up the 2-minute warning as well. I'm always caught in two minds about how to proceed in these situations. Do we send heat again at Gardner Minshew, who has kept the ball on a draw play? Finally, he fumbles and Joey Bosa recovers. What on earth was that from the Raiders? Gardner Minshew in empty kept the ball on some kind of quarterback draw, I guess. Didn't look like quarterback power. Nobody was really running out in front of him to lead the way. in terms of a lead blocker. But either way, Gardner Minshew keeps the ball, puts it on the ground. Joey Bosa, in his first game back after injury, recovers. And we have a chance to while away some of the clock here and put some more points on the board before we head in for the break. So we will run the ball with J.K. Dobbins on first down. It's another really good block from Andrew Norwell. He continues to impress. A late addition in free agency, but it's been one of our better and more consistent offensive linemen so far this season. And we'll go back to J.K. Dobbins and the run game on second down. More good blocks, but who is that? Was that Spillane potentially disengaging at the last moment and preventing J.K. Dobbins from grabbing too many yards on that one? We're going to go play action here on 3rd and 3. And we have nothing on, but Justin Herbert launches deep towards Lad McConkey, who can't quite come down with it. And on a 4th and 3 from our own 48-yard line, I think we're going to have to punt the ball away here. It was an aggressive call on 3rd and 3. Potentially the wrong call, because the Raiders do have 41 seconds and 3 timeouts to work with here. And that does, of course, mean we get 0 points off the turnover. Forced a fumble finally. And the ball pops up in the air again. Another good play by Derwin James, but it does fall incomplete. And that's going to bring up a 2nd and 10 for the Raiders. Junior Colson with a good play, back in coverage on Brock Bowers. Miles Jack couldn't contain him one-on-one earlier, but Junior Colson's done a really good job of that there. And the Raiders are set up to run. We'll see if they do so here on 3rd and 10. It is going to be a run right. It's got to be a good tackle here, and it is. And we're going to take a timeout. We still have 2 available. And with the yarders on just their 20-yard line, we might have a second opportunity to put up at least a field goal here and go in with a touchdown lead. So Darius Davis back to return. And he gets what he can, which is just a couple of yards, really. 22 seconds, 2 timeouts, and an opportunity to get into field goal range from our own 38-yard line. Let's see what the assistant coach thinks. I'm not sure what he thinks, but I think he's an idiot. Those all look like terrible play calls. So we do need at least 20 yards or so, you would have to think. Justin Herbert just throwing the ball away on first down, though. All kind of nonsense occurring there with the routes. A number of them being bumped. So we'll just try a screenplay to J.K. Dobbins instead. Again, it gets bumped, but the blocks work out fairly well. And J.K. Dobbins rushes forward for a 7-yard gain. Only 11 seconds on the clock, though, and we're only at the 45-yard line. So enough time to run 2 plays, potentially. But one of which probably is going to have to be the field goal. So let's see what we can do here on 3rd and 3. Justin Herbert with an incomplete, or an inaccurate rather, throw. And not enough to get into field goal range. Again, we're going to have to punt away. There are only 6 seconds left on the clock, though, so it looks like it's going to be 21-17 at the half. And these two offenses have both slowed down significantly as the second half has whiled away, and it's actually going to be just 1 second on the clock. And the Raiders, it looks like, are about to kneel the first half away. Certainly going to have to look to change things in the second half and try and slow down this Raiders run game, because they have run all over us. And Gardner Minshew's been decent as well. He did put the ball on the ground, but through the air they've been perfectly good, the Raiders. And we actually did set up to defend the inside run ahead of the game. I remember that now. I couldn't remember what we set up to do, but it was defend the inside run. So imagine what the first half would have looked like if we had set up to, like, defend the deep pass, for example. The Raiders were all over us in the run game in the first half. So let's see if the Raiders have learnt their lesson. We'll go back to the same script that we opened the game with those wrinkles that we do like to include. Josh Palmer going the opposite direction is one of them, but Nate Hobbs absolutely obliterates him, and Palmer puts the ball on the ground. Quentin Johnston is back in the game. We are Probably going to be looking his way once or twice in this second half. As Hayden Hurst makes the grab and takes it up for a 5-yard gain. I'd like to run the ball more here in the second half, but it's difficult against this Raiders front. So play action here on 3rd and 5. Rolling out to our right-hand side. Hayden Hurst makes the grab, but he's immediately tackled by Spillane. Might have had something down the field there. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't really get time to look because I was more than nervous about Max Crosby one-on-one against his man. And the Raiders fair catch at the 29. And they have an opportunity to take the lead with their first drive here in this second half. So tough game for the defense so far. I'm really glad Junior Colson got that tackle for loss so early because he's had precious few opportunities to get anything else. And that's dropped in over the head of Miles Jack for Hunter Renfrow to make the grab. And he's been really good so far today as well. It doesn't really matter what I do. We can't seem to stop anything the Raiders are doing here. There's Junior Colson, forces the running back upfield this time into the waiting arms of Miles Jack. If I come out in our base defense, then Hunter Renfrow just kills us in behind. If I come out in nickel, the Raiders have been running all over us. Good tackle by Asante Samuel. Tui Pelotu goes down with an injury this time. And he's running off the field. To be fair, though, I'm not 100% sure why he's on the field. Khalil Mack should be in that right end spot. And we did check the depth chart. Or at least I checked. No, get there, get there. Oh, no, come on, make that tackle. I did check that Joey Bosa was at rush left end. I didn't check that Khalil Mack was at rush right end, and Mack would have moved over to the left in Joey Bosa's absence. Potentially that's why we've been struggling so much. And if we look at dime, Chris Rumph is there instead of Khalil Mack. Big nickel the same, so Khalil Mack has been on the sideline this entire game when we've been in our sub packages. That's frustrating to say the least. But he will be on the field now along with Joey Bosa, so potentially we can start to make a difference here in this second half, and Khalil Mack's making a difference already there. Big tackle for just a 1-yard gain, and Tui Pelotu's dislocated his shoulder, so he'll be out for the remainder of the game. I'm not sure that'll be a lengthy period of time out for Tui Pelotu though, and I hope not, because he has been very good rotating in the absence of Joey Bosa. Big tackle, Derwin James. Brings up a 3rd and 3. You would think it's going to be 4-down territory here for the Raiders, because it makes very little sense to kick a field goal. But Devontae Adams makes the grab, and the point is moot because it is a fresh set of downs for the Raiders already. And the Raiders have lined up in goal line from the 5-yard line. I'm not convinced they're going to run the ball here, although they do. Really well defended, though, by number 51. I'm not 100% sure who that is. And I'm still not. Saw his name at the top there. There was absolutely no way I was going to attempt to pronounce it, though. So the Raiders will go back to that same formation on 2nd down. Again, I'm not convinced they're going to run the ball. This time they don't. It's thrown straight at the linebacker. I don't think the same one that made the tackle a moment ago. But it clanks off his hands and falls harmlessly to the floor. We really could have done with a pick there. And what the Raiders do here on 3rd and goal, I have no idea. They throw the ball towards Devontae Adams, but sails over his head. And I'd be interested to see the Raiders' decision here. It looks like Devontae Adams is running off the field. And I'm going to go safe with our field goal coverage, because it does make far more sense to go for it here than to kick the field goal. But the Raiders do kick, and they are just down 1 point now here in the 3rd quarter. I likely would have gone for it there on 4th down. Potentially run a slightly different 3rd down play with going for it on 4th down in mind. But not the decision that the Raiders make. And Darius Davis will get a chance to return once more. And there's space on this right-hand side if he can find it. And there's just not quite the speed that we need there with Darius Davis. He's had those kind of opportunities a couple of times this season to break a kick return. Hasn't quite managed to do so. So we'll try and run the ball a little bit more in this second half. Good block by the fullback Zander Horvath for a decent enough game by gain for J.K. Dobbins. It's been a slow game for him though, particularly when compared to his previous performances this season. But it's going to be 2nd and 3 here. And can we take a shot with Quinton Johnston? I don't like it. We are just going to run the ball on 2nd and 3. Andrew Norwell climbs to the second level once more. J.K. Dobbins forces his way through and holds on for the first down. And Kamani Vidal is going to come in for his first snaps of the game. We're going to read this stand-up linebacker on the left-hand side of the formation. And we've got Lad McConkey in behind him, and he is absolutely leveled, absolutely brutalized by one of the Raiders linebackers. Again, he does manage to hold on, though. And again, we're going to go with the play-action shot here. Quinton Johnston. Can Justin Herbert get it away? Yes, he can. Quinton Johnston. Why is his name so hard to say? I thought he'd gone up and got it, but couldn't come down with it. It's going to be a 3rd and 5. And this is a big down. We really could do with a conversion here. And we're just dropping it in behind the head of the linebacker to Hayden Hurst, who had found a nice little hole in the zone and just set up shop there. Justin Herbert saw it, lobbed it over the head of the Raiders linebacker with touch and precision. Really nice throw. Justin Herbert really playing well today, and we've needed that. We're going to go read option here on first down with Justin Herbert, who does slide for a 9-yard gain. And that was the exact right moment to pull that out. We said at the beginning of the season, we want to run a little bit with Justin Herbert. We got a little bit ahead of ourselves in game 1. And Herbert went down with an injury in that game. We've dialed it back since. But there are going to be opportunities to exploit the run game with Justin Herbert. That was one of them. And we're going to look here on 2nd down for Lad McConkey. No. What a reception. Has he... That was complete, right? That was complete. So it's going to be a 3rd and 1. And we can run the ball with J.K. Dobbins here on 3rd down. I thought potentially that was incomplete for a moment. So close to the sideline. J.K. Dobbins cuts it back up the middle. He had one man to beat. Couldn't quite beat him. He does manage to bring the ball all the way down to the 5-yard line. Raiders sent a blitz off our left-hand side. And that forced J.K. Dobbins immediately to cut it back up the middle. But he managed to make the adjustment, and he has a chance to punch it into the end zone for the touchdown and complete the drive. Only gains a yard, though. And we're going to run play action here on 2nd down. Surely we have Johnston. Justin Herbert makes the throw. Quinton Johnston makes the grab. And we extend our lead. We've tried that on a couple of occasions this year. And Justin Herbert has missed his man throwing on the run. He is in the zone. I'm not 100% sure that a throw on the run is covered by his zone ability. I need to brush up and get more familiar with exactly what his zone ability does, but we're using dots. It gives him perfect accuracy. I'm not sure if that's just on regular throws, not high throws or low throws. With his feet set in the pocket, does it count with those throws on the run? Those kinds of things. But he does deliver an absolute dart to Quinton Johnston, and we extend our lead to 8 points late here in the 3rd quarter. And we set ourselves up with a good situation to try and see this game out. This is where the Raiders running the ball so often has potentially worked to our advantage, and may continue potentially to work to our advantage, because the more they run the ball, the more time ticks off the clock. And when we are the team with the lead, we don't mind that at all. But instead, they go deep to Davante Adams. Immediately makes the grab. And all the way up to the 49-yard line, Davante Adams. 4 for 72 today. And the Raiders ran all over us in the first half, but that doesn't mean that we can just commit to the run in the second. Because, of course, Davante Adams is a big threat. We've seen Hunter Renfrow making a number of good receptions today through traffic often. And, of course, they have Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer, who's been good as well. And, oh, my days, how has Gardner Minshew completed that? All kinds of pressure in the backfield on Gardner Minshew, but he scrambles away from the pressure. Throws back across his body. And Michael Mayer makes another big reception. And again, I'm struggling to work out how to slow down this Raiders offense. Davante Adams in the zone as well, which doesn't help. It's going to be a run right, forced back up the field, and it's a big tackle again by Junior Colson. And the Raiders may allow this clock to tick out to the end of the third quarter, but we will see. 5 seconds left on the clock at the moment. 3, 2, 1, and they do allow it to tick away. So entering the fourth quarter, we do have an 8-point lead. But the Raiders have the ball approaching our red zone. And with a 2-point conversion, they have a chance to tie the game. And I want to be aggressive here and run some man coverage and run some blitzes, but I'm so wary of Davante Adams, especially since he is now in the zone. It's actually Joey Bosa that tackles Davante Adams this time. And it's going to bring up a 3rd and 3 for the Raiders. And we're going to blitz this safety. Forces the ball out quickly from Gardner Minshew. That was a risky play on defense. The Raiders came out with 2 tight ends and 2 receivers. We came out in cover 3, and I just manned up on that middle safety and just freelanced and ran directly at Gardner Minshew, but they are going to go for it this time, the Raiders. This would be an occasion where I would be more likely to kick the field goal and at least get some points on the board with an opportunity to take the lead if you can get a stop. But it works out for the Raiders, and they do convert, and it's going to be another 1st and 10. And it is going to be another run play, and we do well to wrap up the Raiders running back this time. 2-yard gain on the run, but we're finally starting to slow the Raiders down in that regard at the very least. Try and do so again here if they run the ball, which it looks like they will, and they will, and it's a big tackle. What a tackle that is. And Davante Adams goes down. This could be huge. This could be huge, even if he's just out for the remainder of the fourth quarter. He was in the zone as well. So with the Raiders in the red zone, that is a huge boon for us. And it's going to be a 3rd and 8. And we will commit to the pass. Because with 8 yards to go, even if the Raiders do decide to run the ball, I think... No! How is that a 1st down again? We have allowed 1st downs far too easily in the red zone. Gardner Minshew had all day to throw there. And why is that safety not tighter on Hunter Renfrow? I guess because I protected the sticks. So I guess really I'm to blame there. But if there was some logic, doesn't even need to be a huge amount of logic, just some would be fine. Go and stand closer to the receiver that's clearly in your zone. Nobody else is within 10 yards of you. But Verdell is in. The Raiders will, of course, go for it to try and pick up the 2 here. And we are just going to go out in our base defense because we don't trust the Raiders not to run the ball. And they run it outside and they tie it up. Just have not been able to stop the Raiders whatsoever today. Absolutely no shot of stopping this absolutely mediocre offense. Gardner Minshew, Hunter Renfrow, Michael Mayer, like, come on. Zamir White. I just traded for him in fantasy, but he shouldn't be tearing us apart like he is here. So we've allowed 389 yards here today. Absolutely miserable performance on defense. Justin Herbert, though, he has several yards there. 15 yards per carry for Justin Herbert today, and that hole just opened up for him. I'd like to see that a little bit more from our quarterback. Didn't hate that whatsoever. Hayden Hurst could be open in the seam here. And he is going to be. Can he make the grab? Yes, he can. Can he stay on his feet? Yes, he can. Can he run away from the linebacker? No, he can't. But it is going to be a big first down. All the way down to the 18-yard line on that one. And we will have another opportunity to put some points on the board here. The screenplays have been working nicely, so we will go back to the screen again here. This one doesn't work quite so well. And it is going to be a loss of a couple. We're looking for the end zone here. I don't want 3. I want 7. Justin Herbert has to throw it away. Max Crosby again bringing the pressure. And we might as well go for this pistol play. We've tried it on a couple of occasions. We've been flagged for an ineligible man downfield. We were flagged the last time we ran this as well, but it was for a holding play. No flag this time. Ladd McConkey makes the grab and is into the end zone. I said I wanted 7 and not 3, and that's exactly what we get. And Ladd McConkey's breakout continues here in his rookie season. It's Junior Colson with the breakout challenge this week. But I wouldn't be surprised to see one for Ladd McConkey next week, and that's how that play is supposed to work. We've ran it every week so far, but without success. But that's exactly the way the play is supposed to look. Ladd McConkey motions across the backfield. The ball is snapped. McConkey on the wheel route out of the backfield. And nobody was close to him. Several 10, 15 yards of separation yet again for Ladd McConkey. And thankfully our offense has woken up. It's been a pretty underwhelming start on offense so far this season from Justin Herbert. As much as any player, as any individual player anyway. But 4 touchdowns today. Must be approaching 300 yards through the air. Probably not quite there yet, but approaching the 300-yard mark. And thankfully our offense has woken up because our defense has absolutely been sleeping today. Devontae Adams makes the grab. How does he hold on? How does he hold on to the initial catch first of all, and then hold on through that contact as well? And I'll say it again, I do not know what to do to stop this Raiders offense. Joey Bosa making a tackle behind the line of scrimmage is a good way to start. And the Raiders are going to throw here on second down. Big hit from Derwin James, but Brock Bowers holds on this time. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 7 for the Raiders. If we could force a punt here, I think that would go a huge way to us winning this game. Make a play. Make a play. Let's go. Play is made by Asante Samuel. And we do force the Raiders to punt. I think for the first time today, potentially the second at the very most. Again, Gardner Minshew scrambles. Flicks one deep downfield. And I think it was Lane, the safety there, as well as Devontae Adams. Asante Samuel. And the... Sorry, what? Sorry, what? Why are we being asked to line up on defense on a 1st and 10? What is going on? What is going on? This is Lamsey. I'm not sure how I didn't notice this when it first happened, but Asante Samuel knocks the ball away and the Raiders receiver actually catches it off the knockdown from Asante Samuel. So unfortunately, not a glitch, but a completion. But still one of the most ludicrous things I've ever seen. Oh, if we lose this game, I'm going to be absolutely furious. I haven't really seen any bugs so far. But of course, you know what you're signing up for when you play Madden. You know you're going to get a bug at some point. Gardner Minshew scrambling. Joey Bosa nails it, but not quite quickly enough. And I'm going to be... I mean, the Raiders are at least going to get a field goal here. And I'm furious just about that. The Raiders should be punting to us. We should have the ball on our 18-yard line. Instead, the Raiders do. And it's going to be a touchdown. Absolutely outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. An incomplete pass instead turns into a 60-yard gain. And the Raiders tie it up. And we have to go and win the game now. For no reason, we have to go and win the game now. Oh, this game. This game. We're going to lose now. I guarantee we're going to lose. I would be annoyed enough about that already because it's yardage, it's points. I mean, I wonder how the yardage gets totaled up for that. Do they just... Because it was a glitch, do they not technically gain yards? Well, I mean, they've moved up to 464, so they clearly did. I guess it just goes down as a reception. Oh, that's absolutely outrageous. Now we're going to have to go and win the game. Josh Palmer makes the grab. 4 minutes to go. Let's while away all of this time and kick a field goal. And just come away with the victory and just say, Madden tried to screw us, but we didn't let them. That would be the best possible way to win this game. So we're going to chew the clock. We're going to run the ball. We're going to kick a field goal. We're going to win. We're getting back in the win column. Andrew Norwell, get off the block, man. J.K. Dobbins does convert for the first down. I don't love the look of this on 1st and 10, but Lad McConkey is there to make the grab. Just a 3-yard gain. But it is forward progress, and it does keep the clock ticking. And we will run the ball here on 2nd and 7. Lad McConkey just declining to block. Not even making a bad block, just refusing to do so. And that is going to bring up the 2-minute warning here in the 4th quarter. Tough situation on a 3rd and 5. Because we need a conversion here, really. And I think this screenplay is our best chance of getting it, although that side of the field is kind of stacked for the Chargers. And it is a fairly inviting front to run on. If Brendan Rice can block that linebacker, we're going to trust him to do so. And he absolutely whiffs. Absolutely whiffs. And Rashawn Slater goes down with an injury. That could not have gone worse. Why didn't I just run the screen? Why can't Madden just work? We're going to have to punt it away. And we are now down the left tackle. Punting the ball to the Raiders. With a chance to win this game. Out of absolutely nowhere and for absolutely no reason. We've been absolutely screwed. Takeaway here would be absolutely incredible. Instead, it's going to be a reception to Hunter Renfrow. And the Raiders are going to move the ball. And they are going to put up 500 yards. And they are going to win the game. And our defense is going to be the worst in the league. That's just how this is going to go. Last time the Raiders ran out of empty, Gardner Minshew kept it. They've actually checked back into a more traditional formation. It's not like empty isn't a traditional formation. They brought the running back into the backfield is what I'm saying. But incomplete. It's going to be a 2nd and 10. Let us send some heat at Gardner Minshew. And a lot of it as well. In fact, I kind of hate this, but we're going to do it anyway. And that's why I hate it. Devontae Adams makes the grab. Just over a minute to go. Raiders don't even need a touchdown. All they need is a field goal. And they are already approaching field goal range. We need a takeaway. And even then, we need to score. There's Devontae Adams again. Rip the ball out. Christian Fulton can't force the ball free. And they have gone over 500 yards now, the Raiders. And we're going to have to start taking timeouts. Didn't really want to do that before then. Have we used a timeout already? How are we down a timeout already as well? I don't remember taking a timeout in the second half. So not only did they gift the ball the Raiders on the 18-yard line for no reason, but they've taken one of our timeouts as well. And we might as well just let the Raiders into the end zone, because they could have won the game there just by downing the ball and kicking a field goal. Instead, they do give us at least an opportunity to tie the game. But how we are going to lose this game, I don't know. Absolutely outrageous. I cannot get over that. Cannot get over that. Darius Davis is going to return. Can he finally break one? I mean, it's a decent enough return to get to the 28-yard line. 26 seconds to grab a touchdown for Justin Herbert and the Chargers. We need a miracle. We don't quite need a Hail Mary just yet, but we certainly need a miracle. Quentin Johnston, win. Doesn't win. 21 seconds. 2nd and 10. So if the Raiders send pressure here, I don't love this. I do love the fact that Ladd McConkey won off the line of scrimmage, though. And he's broken tackles, and Ladd McConkey is away. And he's easily going to have the speed to get there. Ladd McConkey levels it up. Or not quite. Pending the extra point, Ladd McConkey levels it up. But Ladd McConkey scores the touchdown. 2nd of the game. What a season he's having. What is that? A 70-yard touchdown? Broke 2 tackles after he made the grab. Justin Herbert's 5th touchdown of the game. And we may well come away with the win in this one. The Raiders are going to try and ice us. So we're going to go for 2. We're going to go for 2 here. I was ready to kick the field goal, but the Raiders have iced us. And that is going to give us the opportunity to select a play here to try and win the game. What do we want to go with? And I was all ready to throw, but I think we're going to run here with Isaiah Spiller, and we're going to be short. And we're going to lose the game. Maybe I should have thrown after all. But I thought we had the numbers to win in the run game. But instead, the Raiders are going to come away with a 1-point victory. After we were absolutely robbed. Why are we kicking off here? What is this game? Why are we kicking to the Raiders? Oh, because we just scored a touchdown. It's not the game this time. It's me being an idiot. I had in my head that we were going for it on 4th down. We weren't. We were going for a 2-point conversion. But the Raiders kneel it out. I'm not going to be a douche and call our last time out of the game. But this is going to go down as a loss on our record. But I'm kind of tempted just to quit the game now and force a win, because we had the lead. We forced an incompletion on 3rd and long. I don't remember exactly, but 3rd and long, deep in Raiders territory. They would certainly have had to punt the ball away. And just for no reason, the game gives them a 1st down on our 18-yard line. And in a game where we went for 479 total yards, in a game where Justin Herbert threw for 378 yards and 5 touchdowns, somehow we lose. Absolutely unreal. Didn't throw an interception. Gardner Minshew had 356 yards, to be fair, but just 1 touchdown. When your quarterback goes for 5 touchdowns and the opposition goes for 1 and you still lose... Unreal. How did we do rushing the ball? J.K. Dobbins was quiet today. That's part of the reason we couldn't run the game away. 18 for 71 and a touchdown. Couple of runs for Justin Herbert today. This is exactly what I'm talking about. When I compared him to Josh Allen early in the series, it wasn't in the sense that he can run 5 or 6 times a game and, you know, run quarterback power and things like that. But a couple of rushes per game, 15 yards per carry. One of which was a designed quarterback run. I think we can mix that in. 9 for 142 and 3 touchdowns. If Ladd McConkey doesn't have a breakout challenge in the next game, then it's a double outrage. Hayden Hurst went 6 for 95. 4 for 82 for Josh Palmer. He's risen to the challenge after being dropped down the depth chart. A touchdown for him as well. 2 for 13 and a touchdown for Quentin Johnston. In terms of defense, Derwin James had 13 tackles today. That's huge. 9 for JT Woods, 7 for Miles Jack, 6 for Junior Colson, but he did have that tackle for loss. So we should see him with Star Dev after this one. And it apparently... what is this game? That wasn't the elite performance I was hoping for. It's not for lack of effort. So we don't get the breakout with Junior Colson. It was 1 tackle for loss is what he needed for Star Dev. He got a tackle for loss. I'm forcing star dev. So Junior Colson does now have star development. Big performance from him. Really good rookie season so far. But Rashawn Slater has torn his labrum. He will be out for the next 5 weeks. That is such a huge loss. Joel will stay at right tackle, but it does mean that Jordan Sally is going to have to come in and cover for Rashawn Slater at left tackle. And unsurprisingly, Justin Herbert does win AFC Offensive Player of the Week for his performance. 25 of 39 for 378 and 5 passing touchdowns, 2 for 30 on the ground as well. But that does bring us into week 6 and a matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Every other team in the AFC West won last week as well. So the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Broncos all moved to 3-2. I'm going to be thinking about that loss for quite some time, I know, but we'll try and put it out of our mind ahead of the next one. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.